Hello everyone, I am Dhananjay Moray. Hi Nishchal. Hello Ranjit sir. Hello Vipin. Good evening Himadri. Good evening Sagar. Hello Naveen. Hello Ravi. And again, hello Ravi. Hello Niloy. Hello Santosh. Okay, today, one of the first things which I would like to ask you is how many of you have seen my earlier videos, the earlier one, and if you've liked it. So just type a yes if you have liked the previous broadcast. Hi Rajesh. Hello Santosh. Namaskar Vishal. Good evening Darshit. I hope everyone I'm audible. Okay, so right now I'm going to start with something which in my previous broadcast I did not complete because I had finished my broadcast and then somebody asked me a question. So I thought, let me start by answering that question first. The question was, somebody wanted to take pictures of insects flying. Now, flying insects is something which is pretty interesting. Insects, like, this is the kind of way pictures he probably wanted to take. Now, these are pictures of somebody who is one of the best people in this particular business. Let me play it for you. Yeah. Okay. These are the pictures of Stephen Dalton, who is by far the best photographer of insects in flight. Now, how do you go about taking such photographs? It's a very interesting thing. The method which Stephen Dalton uses, and which I think many photographers also use, is a setup like this. So if you look at the setup, it's an indoor setup, it's not outdoors. If you look closely, you will see in the background there is a print of a garden kind of a setup of some foliage, and he has got these powerful lights with which he's taking the pictures. So this is basically Stephen Dalton's setup. Now it is one of the you can go online and check out Stephen Dalton and see what kind of insect photography he has been taking over the years. It's very interesting to note that most of these insects, if you look at the picture closely, you will see that everything he has shuttered it with plastics, and so that the insects will not run away. The other thing which many of these photographers do is they freeze the insect. Now they are very well versed in how long the insect can be frozen or how long it should be frozen, and they take him out as the insect thaws out with the heat of the light. They fly. Now when they fly, what is done is there is a laser trap. A laser trap meaning it's quite like the laser pointer which is there, which we use for presentations, and that laser beam is cut by the insect. If the minute the insect flies across that laser beam, the flash fires. So that is how these pictures are taken. So this is again, of course, the flash duration has to be pretty short, the flash has to be very powerful, and so on. So this is the setup which can be used for these kind of shots. Another question which was asked was about what is a low key picture and what is a high key picture. Oopsie daisy, I think I just shut off my presentation. So I'll just go back and reopen the presentation. Yeah. So here you dark picture, and you will notice that all the histogram has gone towards dominantly everything is dark. There is practically nothing bright in this. So this is known as a low key picture. The high key, on the other hand, and high key picture is the other way around. Everything is very, very bright, and you will notice that the histogram has gone towards the whites. So these are the two basic types of photographs which people take, portraits, low key lighting and a high key lighting. So this is what I had tried to cover last time, but I did not have the proper pictures for that. So let's now come to today's topic, which, as everyone knows by now, is on the inverse square law. Now, inverse square law is something which everybody has been using for donkey's years without realizing that they are using this inverse square law. And what is it? So first, let us see how people have been using this inverse square law. So the inverse square law, basically when people were using film, or even when they were using manual flashes, they used to do a very simple thing. If there was a subject and the light was less, they would either move closer or move the subject closer. The other option was they could open the aperture. So this was a very, very simple way of using the inverse square law. Now, how is this inverse square law? So let's understand that. What does the inverse square law really mean? The inverse square law says a very simple thing. Light traveling twice the distance has 1/4 the power. Now, sounds simple, but yet it is complicated. Let's see what it is. Now, if this was the flash which was firing at, say, 1 feet, it was giving X amount of light. But when the distance increases, it doubles, you will notice that the light has spread more. And how much has it spread? It has reduced its intensity by 1/4. It has spread 4 times. So 4 times the area is covered. This is also known as the light fall off of light. So this is basically, in a nutshell, what is the inverse square law. As the light moves further away from the source, the power decreases. Now, how is this useful to us in everyday photography? This is a simple example. So if you have got 2 subjects, you place one subject close to the light and the other subject is basically only 2 feet away. The guy is about 2 feet away. You can see in the top view and in the 3D image, he's about 2 feet away. The female model is much closer. She's about 1 foot away. But you notice the amount of difference of light on the 2 people's faces. Now, this is a typical scenario which may happen when you're shooting a couple. You may have the bride to be a fairer, one of the 2 persons may be fairer, and the other person may be a little darker. So if you place the light in this manner, the fairer person will become even more fair and the darker person will go even darker. So this is the main thing. Now, what happens is, imagine the difference, just the difference of 2 feet, the light is dropping by 89%. Now you are saying 89%? How is that possible? Well, let's understand this again. Here it is, the flash fire has fired. At 1 meter, the light output is 100%. At 2 meters, it's gone 1/4, that is 25%. And by 3 meters, it's only 11% of the light. So as the light is reducing, notice that by the time you have reached 7 meters, the light fall off difference between 7 and 8, 8 and 9 is very, very marginal. In fact, after 5 feet, after 5 meters, the light fall off is not very much. So what does it mean? It means a very simple thing, that if we keep the light further back, both the people in this particular case will get a similar amount of light. So that is what we have done here. If you notice, we have taken the light behind. The difference between the two, they both are still standing 2 feet apart. But because the light has moved behind, the light on the female model and the light on the male model are almost the same. So therefore, the difference is not that much noticeable. Now, both the skin tones appears to be very much close to what it was originally. So this is one of the key takeaways from this particular thing, that if you place the light further away, now this is very important when you are shooting groups in a marriage. When you are doing group photography, you will notice that the first row and the second row generally stands immediately behind the couple. So if you have got 2 rows of people or 3 rows of people, if your lights are too close, the light fall off is going to be tremendous. So what you need to do is take the lights further behind. And if you take the lights further behind, you will find that the light fall off is much lesser. So now, how can we use this in another way? So if you are looking at another way of using this is, as you will notice behind me, my studio is gray in color. So the walls are light gray in color. But if you notice carefully, that same gray I can make into various colors. How? It's a very, very simple thing to do. Again, the same thing. Good evening, Kuldeep ji. Good evening, Gulfram. The difference between the distance between the model and the background. Now, how I adjust that using that same law which I was using, the inverse square law, you will find that it is going to be quite different. So here in this particular case, you will notice that my background and my subject, if I keep them pretty close and I use a soft light source, which I'm using here, a soft box, you will find that my background has come light gray, or almost I can overexpose it a little bit and make it white. The same thing, if I has now become gray. How has it become gray? Notice that between the previous shot and this shot, what I have done is the distance between the model or the mannequin in this case and the light is the same. But in the first instance, the subject and this thing was close to the wall. Now I have pulled the subject and light a little bit behind. The whole setup has moved back. When I move this setup back, you will notice that the background, now remember the light fall off is there. So the light falling on the background is much lesser than the light falling on the subject. So if I was getting a reading of say 5.6 on the face of the model in the first instance, and on the background I was getting say something like similar light of maybe 5.6 or 4, here what has happened is because the light falling on the subject is still 5.6, but now the light falling on the background may be around 1.4 or 1.8. So it has fallen by a couple of stops. Because of this, the background has now started going a deep gray. If I take it even further away, the background can become almost black. Now, once I understand this, how can I use this in a more creative way? It's a very simple thing I can do. The same background, as you notice in all the shots, I have used the same mannequin. The image size is the same. Everything is the same. Only background is changing, but the background is actually the same. In the last case, because the background has now become dark gray or almost black, I can add gels. Gels, if you buy a kit like this, the AKR1 kit, which we get in the market, you can, this is the AKR1 kit, you'll get with it a set of gels. Now, these are some of the gels which you will get in the market. You've got multicolored gels in this. So you can use any one of them. Or you can also get gels from your local stationery shop. Even those will work pretty well. So the gels can add color. You don't need to buy a blue background, a red background, a green background. You can only use the dark gray background and add the gel, and the background color will change. So you can do this. Now again, for this kind of a thing, you will require a meter. It's not going to be handheld. You will have to use a meter. You cannot do it just by judgment. So a meter would become pretty useful in these kind of scenarios. Now, if you are interested in knowing more about photography, you can or you should subscribe to our Pixel Village site, where you will find, in fact, quite a few of my programs are there on Pixel Village. So you can subscribe to this. You can also, if you want to see what kind of photography I do, you can go on to this particular website, Dhananjay Moray Photography, and you can see my photography. This is some of the photography that I do. And you can also check out my YouTube channel, which only has currently about 2 videos. So these are free. The Pixel Village one is a paid site. There's some free content also. So you can check out all these sites. So now, again, I'm going to ask you all for any questions and any difficulties. If you have not understood something so far, let's take it from here. Oops, I'm sorry. Yeah. So let us take this thing from here now. So let me see if I get any questions now. Any interesting questions? So hi Maulik. And hi, good evening Suman. So let's see if you have found anything interesting to ask me. Hi Purachi. So good evening everyone. And again, once again, I'm Dhananjay Moray. You can read my name down there. I've been a photographer for quite a few years. I started in 1988 when there was film. I've graduated to digital. So I probably know a little bit about film, a little bit about photography. Which light model and meter would you recommend? Okay, the meter which I am recommending is this one, the L478. Reason is, this is a mid-range meter. It's not the top of the line meter. It's not the bottom of the line meter. It's a very, very good meter to use. It's manufactured by a company called Seaconic, which is probably the only company now manufacturing meters. Okay, can you show some pictures of AKR1 gel that colors? Okay, see, AKR1 has these kind of colors right now available. I can open this thing set for you. So you've got a few warm tone ones, you've got greens, you've got a light green. Now these are a very limited range of colors if you look at it. But there is another trick to it. As I said, you get cheap gelatin paper, which people use for making Diwali kandils and all those kind of things. You can use those gels. They'll work equally fine. Okay, does Godox portable work fine outdoors as well? Yes, Godox works equally well outdoors. Okay, how do you take portraits with ice light only? See, Godox doesn't make ice light. Godox makes a light which is similar to ice light, and you can take pictures with it. Now, how to take pictures, I'll probably show it in another video or something. Okay, I'm Hitesh. Okay, you're new to photography and you want to buy backgrounds. Can you help me? Which one? Yeah, you should see, the first thing which I would recommend to anybody who's wanting to set up a studio is just paint your walls gray. Don't paint it black, don't paint it white, don't paint it with any color. A good mid gray is fine. So these the gray advantage of gray is that you can change the color of gray to red, or this thing, the gray can become lighter and darker. I have used roto lights, and they're pretty decent to use. It's not that they're not good, but again, for me, the key is how expensive is a light and how cost effective is it. This is my main question. Good afternoon, Ashok. Okay, what is ice light? I will have to get up from my chair for a second to show you what is ice light. Well, ice light is a light which is very similar to this light. Okay, so it's very similar to this particular light which I am holding in my hand. Now, it's basically a LED light, and if I switch it on, yeah, so it's this kind of a light. Now it's pretty good. You will notice you can use this light in any way. It's excellent to be used as a cut light also. It can be used as a main light also. Again, it can be used horizontally, vertically, in any way. And unlike ice light comes only in white, this particular light, we have two options. One is on one side it is warm, on the other side it is neutral. So this is what is ice light. Okay. Best less range high speed. Again, it's Godox only, my dear Mr. Parmeet. You'll have to choose which one you want. Some additional features are there in certain lights, certain don't have certain additional features. So you'll have to check it out, which features are of interest and use to you. Okay, are Godox Godox triggers available for phase 1 MF digital back? There is one trigger which you can use. That's the manual basic trigger. But you will not get any TTL for phase 1. Mr. Santosh. So there is a basic trigger. You can use that, or you can use it with the sync cord also. How to using Godox, sir? Mr. Suman, I didn't get your question. इंग्लिश फोटोग्राफी सर 30% है, 70% हिंदी में हो, कृपया हिंदी में कहें. मिलन भाई, मैं हिंदी में बोल सकता हूं, बट ये एडवर्टाइज किया गया है एज अ इंग्लिश प्रोग्राम, इसलिए मैं इंग्लिश में बोल रहा हूं. सो चाहिए तो मैं थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी और थोड़ा इंग्लिश ऐसा कॉम्बिनेशन कर सकता हूं. So, Mr. Santosh, I hope you are happy with. I think Mr. Pravesh, we will. हम लोग हिंदी में भी कर लेते हैं. चलिए. अच्छा, Mr. Vishal asked me, am I a co-partner or I'm a mentor with Radhakrishnan ji at Pixel Village? Both of us. I mean, he had got the idea. He came up with this idea. I have been helping him with the content. So वो कंटेंट हमारा ही है, इसलिए पिक्सल विलेज के साथ मैं जुड़ा हुआ हूँ स्टार्ट से, आप बोल सकते हैं. अच्छा, दूसरा जो वेबसाइट आपको देखना है तो वो ये है, ये मेरा खुद का वेबसाइट है, धनंजय मोरे फोटोग्राफी. यहाँ पे आप मेरा काम देख सकते हो. दिस इज विल इट गिव मी HSS. I have not tried it with phase 1, Mr. Santosh. So honestly speaking, I will not be able to give you I'm not being able to give you an honest reply whether it will work, but I'm quite sure, depending upon which light you have, the AD600 and etc. series will work if you are using it with a sync cord. In fact, with Broncolor also, Broncolor recommends that you use a sync cord rather than using a trigger. Acha, can you somebody wants to see some state. Can you please state some info on HSS? Okay. अब जो हाई स्पीड सिंक है, जो शॉट आप अभी इस पे देख रहे हो, ये हाई स्पीड सिंक का ही शॉट है. बट ऐसा शॉट मैं दोबारा शूट करने की कितनी भी लाख कोशिश की है, बट वो वैसा एग्जैक्ट नहीं आ पाता है. 19-20 आएगा, बट वो सेम शॉट नहीं आएगा. तो HSS का एक यूनिकनेस है अगर आपने वो सही तरीके से यूज किया. ओके, 2 numbers of V1 combined with one stand. Can we get output of 150 watt light? देखिए, एक्चुअली अगर मैंने आपको बताया तो V1 का जो watt second output है, that V1 watt second output is about 70 to 80 watt seconds. So though two V1s combined can give you approximately 150 watt seconds. Again, Vishal is asking me, how did you shoot the 3 glasses and vodka? जरा आप सर खुजाइए. ये हाई स्पीड सिंक का शॉट है, बट ये शूट करने के लिए काफी मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. ये पर्टिकुलर शॉट जो है, ये मुझे एब्सोल्युटली फ्लूक से मिला है. फ्लूक से इसलिए मिला है कि मुझे अब तक आई मस्ट हैव गॉट एटलीस्ट 50 शॉट्स जिसमें ग्लास एग्जैक्ट ऐसा है, ग्लास में जो लिक्विड है वो ऐसा ही है, बट जो बॉटल तिरछी हुई है, which is falling, that only happened in this particular shot. So is there a benefit of paper compared to cloth background? Definitely paper background is better. It is smoother. Wrinkles नहीं आते हैं, wrinkles आते हैं, बट वो अलग किस्म के wrinkles होते हैं. So स्टूडियो के लिए पेपर बैकग्राउंड्स आर मच बेटर, बट पेपर बैकग्राउंड फटते भी जल्दी है और आप लोकेशन पे लेके जाने के लिए बहुत इनकन्वीनियंट होते हैं. सो श्री कृष्णा, दैट इज द इशू. ओके, विच see again, which video light can we use instead of a porta light in a wedding? Godox is making 2 types of lights. One is a panel light and the other light is the single chip on board kind of lights. Now single chip on board light, at the advantage of that is, उसका जो बेसिक एडवांटेज है क्योंकि एक ही चिप होती है एक बल्ब की तरह, तो आप उसके ऊपर सॉफ्ट बॉक्सेस वगैरह लगा सकते हो. दैट यू कैन नॉट डू विथ a panel light. So panel light maximum you can put a umbrella like you can do with a porta light. Cost is another major factor because LED lights are much more expensive than a porta light. Okay, sir, can you explain how you shot this vodka image? Okay, I'll tell you how the vodka image came about. I was trying to get all 3 glasses have to be the same. So how do you get the splashes in all 3 glasses to be the same? even if I put with droppers, all three are not going to get the same amount of liquid. So I tried, बहुत सारी चीजें ट्राई की. इनफैक्ट एक दिन मेरा गया, मुझे वो शॉट दिमाग में नहीं बैठा, रिजल्ट दिमाग में नहीं बैठा. सडनली मुझे फिर ख्याल आया कि क्यों ना मैंने सब ग्लासेस बॉटल्स सबको मैं पेस्ट कर दूं. तो मैंने फेविक्विक से ये बेस पे चिपका दिया और टेबल का टेबल हिलाया. अब टेबल हिलाने के बाद सब में इक्वल मोशन आया, इसलिए यू विल सी there is a wave in all the three. That is how it was done. Any color gels with IC500? See, with this again, color gels agar if you want to use, you should buy Lee or any other brand ke Roscoe or Lee color gels. Those are standard, industry standard color gels. How important it is to have a light meter in a studio as compared to built-in meters of camera or maybe even checking histogram? Very frankly, if you are looking at taking pictures like the one you're seeing here on the screen right now, you need a meter. ये बगैर मीटर का ये शॉट हो ही नहीं सकता है, तो इसलिए आपको मीटर चाहिए. Mr. Vishal says, I'm a doctor by profession and photographer by choice. I started, yes, I found myself much interested in candids. I have been shooting candids in events, sports, field shoot, candid portraits, have headshots. What future do I have? Shooting candid portraits and headshots. Yeah. Mr. Vishal, you can get a lot of business in shooting headshots. In fact, there's an entire market just working on heads or headshots. Models require it. Would-be artists, they keep requiring it all the time. So there is even a simple thing. A bride wants a shot to be taken. That is again a headshot. Executives require it now. Everywhere they have to put up their pictures. So headshots are there. They don't require a passport picture. Remember, passport pictures are passé. Now, what is required is a headshot, a professional headshot. So it's a big market by itself. Okay, have I missed anything? Explain by paper. Did you shoot 3? Yeah, combined. Put. Yeah. Okay, HSS. Manish Arora is also a dentist. Very good. Vodka bottle shoot. Camera is irrelevant in this particular shot. Reason is, it is just for me. For me, a camera is very, very rudimentary. I will put it this way. I will only look at कितना megapixel का camera है. That's it. Full frame है, नहीं है. And but the lens in front of it has to be a high quality lens. That is very important. So you can do that. So I think this particular must have been shot on something like I'm not sure. It was I think a 70 Mark II or something like that. I must have used for this. Okay, Sri Krishna Joshi is asking, do you or Pixel Village conduct training in studio portraits? See, in Pixel Village, you will find a lot of videos which are there of these kind of things. So you can check it out. Okay, I'm using Nikon, planning for Sony. Is it okay to buy crop or full sensor? Mr. Vishal, I think a couple of minutes back you asked me about phase 1. Was it you? Were you using phase 1 or somebody else? I don't know. But I do not advise anyone if you already have a Nikon, or you have a Canon, or you have a Sony, it is sheer stupidity to change from one system to another. Because if you are going to change from one system to another, firstly, it breaks the bank. If you try to sell your equipment, you are going to get very little value for it. And as such, you do not get some fantastic advantage by using another brand. Whether it is Nikon, whether it is Sony, whether it is Canon, all have got good lenses and good bodies. So it really does not make much of a difference. Yes, a crop sensor or a full frame, that you can decide. As I think, Mr. Vishal, you want to shoot a lot of portraits and things like that, candid pictures. I would suggest that you go for you can use a full frame sensor so that the background blurs sufficiently, and you can buy prime lenses. Even third-party prime lenses are good enough. You can buy Samyang or something like that. That's good. Focusing becomes an issue with my camera. It depends which model you are using. What happens is, very often many manufacturers, they have issues with their focusing. They come up with firmware upgrades and their focusing improves. Okay. Mr. Shri Krishna Joshi, setting up fashion studio. What size of the studio is recommended and how many lights are recommended? See, if you are setting up a fashion studio, I would recommend a shooting space of about 400 square feet. Now, 400 square feet can be 20 by 20 also, or it can be any thing. But 400 square feet of shooting space is good. That's the minimum. You can add more if you have more space. It's very always good. How many lights? If you're shooting fashion, I would recommend about 6 lights. Now you may suddenly get a shock saying 6 lights. No. Reason is, basically we have what is known as a 3-point lighting. 1 light for the background, 1 light as the main light, and 1 light as a fill light. So that becomes 3 straight away. Now if you're shooting for fashion, you might require a cut light, so that becomes 4th light. You may require additional hair light or something like that, so that will make a 5th light. And I would definitely say you should have 1 more light just in case you need one, or if 1 light conks or something, you should have 1. Okay, Jaideep Chandrana says attend a few basic tutorials and courses. Yes. Is there any need to use light meter while shooting outdoors pre-wedding using AD600 Pro? Yes, you'll have to, Mr. Jeevan, because if you want to get consistent results and fast results, then a meter is a must. In the last ever episode on Sunday, I had shown you that in the meter we have this indicator which tells you how much is the percentage of flash and how much is the percentage of daylight. So you can balance the same and keep it constant. So you will get similar results all throughout. Mr. Sumoy Shah asks for portraits 85mm 1.8 or a macro 90mm lens is a better option. See, there are 2 different lenses. What is a macro lens? First, you have to try and understand. A macro lens is designed for close focusing. That means your subject is about 5-6 inches away. When you're shooting a portrait, you're shooting at a distance of at least 5 to 6 feet from the subject. So your focusing is designed in that manner for a portrait lens, and for a macro, it is designed for being close. Yes, a macro can be used for portraits, but a portrait lens cannot be used for macro. Manish Agarwal, yes, we have lost the main subject. Can we come more? Okay, inverse square law, especially in weddings. Yes, मैं अभी वापस I have already finished the subject, but I will come back to this. क्योंकि कुछ लोगों को लगा कि I am talking too much in English, तो मैं हिंदी में भी जरा ये वापस एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ आपको. तो बेसिकली इनवर्स स्क्वायर लॉ जो है वो हम लोग बहुत सालों से यूज करते थे। वो क्या यूज करते थे हम लोग इस तरीके से ये इनवर्स स्क्वायर लॉ यूज करते थे कि लाइट ऐसी होती थी, फ्लैश फायर होता था, एक मिनट, ये प्ले नहीं हो रहा है। हाँ, तो बेसिक मैनुअल फ्लैशेस के टाइम पे हम लोग जब फ्लैश फायर करते थे तो या आपके पास 3 ऑप्शन होते हैं, या आप सब्जेक्ट को नजदीक लेके जाइए, फ्लैश को नजदीक लेके जाइए, या आप एपर्चर खोलिए। ये हमारे बेसिक 3 प्रिंसिपल्स रहते हैं, 3 मुद्दे रहते हैं। इनवर्स स्क्वायर लॉ क्या कहता है कि लाइट जितनी दूर जाती है उतनी वो फैलती है और उसकी इंटेंसिटी कम होती है। यानी अगर मैंने ये लाइट फायर की तो आप देखेंगे 1 यूनिट लाइट 1 फुट पे है, बट वो जैसे ही 2 फुट या 2 मीटर पे चली जाती है वो लाइट उसका 1/4 हो जाता है, एक सिर्फ चौथा हिस्सा ही पहुंच पाता है। तो इंटेंसिटी लाइट की जो है वो कम हो जाती है क्योंकि एरिया बढ़ जाता है। तो अगर हम लोग स्टूडियो में शूट कर रहे हैं या अगर हम शादियों में भी पोर्ट्रेट शूट कर रहे हैं, लाइट अगर नजदीक होगी, यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे कि 2 सब्जेक्ट से एक मॉडल लाइट के नजदीक है, दूसरा मॉडल जो है वो जरा पीछे खड़ा है। मेल और फीमेल मॉडल के बीच में 2 फुट का ही अंतर है, पर लाइट फीमेल मॉडल के पास नजदीक लाइट है, आप जैसे आप देख सकते हो कि फ्रेम के अंदर भी है, तो आप देखेंगे फीमेल मॉडल पे बहुत ज्यादा लाइट है और मेल मॉडल बहुत डार्क चला जाता है। यही चीज अगर ये मुझे सॉल्व करना है प्रॉब्लम, तो इनवर्स स्क्वायर लॉ जो है वो ऐसा कहता है कि जैसे जैसे मैं डिस्टेंस बढ़ाऊंगा उसकी लाइट की इंटेंसिटी, तीव्रता कम होती जाती है। तो मैं लाइट जरा पीछे लेके जाऊंगा और जैसे मैंने लाइट पीछे लेके गया हूं मैं, आप देखेंगे कि दोनों मॉडल्स पे उतनी ही लाइट आई है। दोनों के बीच में अंतर अभी भी 2 फुट है, पर लाइट की जो तीव्रता है वो कम हो गई है, दोनों पे ऑलमोस्ट इक्वल लाइट। अब इसका फायदा हम लोग कहां यूज कर सकते हैं? अगर हमने सब्जेक्ट के नजदीक लाइट लेके गए और सब्जेक्ट लाइट ग्रे दीवारें हैं तो वो व्हाइट की ओर जा सकती है। वही चीज अगर हम सब्जेक्ट और लाइट दोनों को हम लोग पीछे लेके आते हैं, दीवार से पीछे लेके आते हैं या बैकग्राउंड से हम पीछे लेके आते हैं, तो बैकग्राउंड डार्क हो जाता है और हम बैकग्राउंड को अलग तरीके से लाइट भी कर सकते हैं जेल्स के द्वारा। तो यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे कि बैकग्राउंड पे मेरे पास बहुत सारे ऑप्शन होते हैं। मैं जैसे सेकंड शॉट में आप देखेंगे कि मैंने ग्रेडियंट लगा दिया है। ग्रेडियंट यानी मैंने व्हाइट लाइट ही लगा दी है बट एक डायरेक्शन से लगा दी है, तो उसके वजह से नीचे व्हाइट है और ऊपर ग्रे हुआ है, तीसरे में डार्क ग्रे हुआ है और चौथे शॉट में मैंने उसके ऊपर जेल चढ़ाया तो बैकग्राउंड ब्लू हो गया है। तो ये इस तरीके से आप शादियों में या किधर भी आप ये स्टाइल से लाइट यूज कर सकते हो। ये लाइट का बेसिक प्रिंसिपल है कि आप कैसे यूज करते हो। सो वापस मुद्दे पे आ जाते हैं कि ओके, मिस्टर जीवन यादव सेज की ओके, लेट मी सी, मिस्टर फ्यू क्वेश्चंस इन द मिडिल। ओके, सोनी अल्फा 7 आउटडोर शूट बेटर वेडिंग ओनली। सुमन भाई, मुझे एग्जैक्ट आपका सवाल समझ में नहीं आया। कलर्स आर सो ब्यूटीफुल। वेदर आप सोनी कैमरा यूज कर रहे हो, कैनन यूज कर रहे हो या निकॉन यूज कर रहे हो, वो पूरा सेटिंग के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है। आपको सेम कलर सब कैमराज में मिल जाते हैं। आप किस तरीके से कैमरा को कैलिब्रेट करते हो और किस तरीके से आप सेटिंग करते हो उसके हिसाब से है। तो हेलो एमकेएस, ओके, कैन यू सजेस्ट एन अफोर्डेबल लाइट मीटर? सिकॉनिक का एक वर्जन इससे नीचे भी आता है, आई थिंक 308X या ऐसा कुछ है। तो वो अफोर्डेबल लाइट मीटर है। दैट्स अ मच चीपर लाइट मीटर, यू कैन चेक आउट ऑनलाइन उसका प्राइस। सर, इन वेडिंग सम रिचुअल्स टेक प्लेस इन अ वेरी स्मॉल स्पेस। In weddings always rituals take place in very small places. especially in Mumbai or in small cities, the flat, half of the rituals take place inside a flat. So you will require a wide angle lens and you need to bounce the light. So that is what you have to do. The okay, can you wait a minute, one question. Maintenance, Mr. Rahul asks me, maintenance of camera during the time of lockdown. Click pictures. That's the best maintenance. Do not try to clean anything. Do not try to clean the sensor ever. Best give it to a authorized service center for sensor cleaning. Maximum, the cleaning which I do is just dusting of the camera. That's it. Anything else beyond that, it goes to the service center. Can you just guide if one has selected out of the has to select out of the 480, 200, 400, 600 for indoor and outdoor, which would you recommend? See, the 8200 Pro is a very good light to use because you can it has an additional head which is available, with which you can put two lights and make it into two 8200s and make it into a 8400. So, and the cost is almost the same as an 8400 Pro. But again, you can separate the two and use as two separate lights. So that is a very nice choice which you can use. The 400 and 600 are excellent. 400 is a light which is not very heavy, so you can put it on a boom. The 600 is a very good light, has excellent power, but it is a heavy light. So if you want to put it on a boom stand, you have to have Arnold Schwarzenegger's kind of biceps to lift it. Okay, the distance and the okay, Umesh Bhatti asked the distance between how will you get best results in such situations? It's okay in rituals. Okay, what happens is, as I said, you have to use wide angle lenses. Generally, I would recommend if you are on a budget, something like a 10 by 1018 wide angle in Canon. So something like that, if you are using, you will get maximum coverage in minimum area. And again, you have to you might probably have to stand on a chair or some such thing to get a little bit of room here and there. So that is the best thing which you can do in small areas when you've got confined. That's basically what I do. I will stand on a chair or something, so I am in a corner, but I get a high perspective. I get a different angle of view. Okay. Okay, Mr. Bhavesh. Thank you, Mr. Shri Krishna. Sir, I have 400 watt. I'm planning to buy 2 more lights. So, I have not understood your question again. 400 watts is what? 400 watts is a continuous light source. You've got 400 watt LEDs or you've got 400 watt seconds studio lights. So I've not understood, Mr. Bhavesh Rathi, what you're trying to put for. And if you've got, say, I'll understand it as you've got 400 watt second lights, studio lights. Yes, you can go for 200 watt lights because the power of 200 watt light goes down by one stop more than the 400 watts in any scenario. How to change background color with gels in outdoor locations with normal speed lights the way you did in the studio. This is something, again, a very interesting thing what you can do. Outdoors, you will have to change the white balance. So if you keep the white balance to something like tungsten, the sky will become more blue. Then you will have to add a warm gel which will give you a correct colors for the subject on the light. That is how you can change the colors outdoors. Can you please explain the multi-option in AD200? Mr. Gupta, I think someone from Godox will give you an answer, or you can go onto the website. It's a special head in which you can plug into Godox AD400s. Mr. Deepak Vasan, the statement which I have made is not incorrect. I'll tell you why. the camera can produce one color, but in the end, you are going to be watching it or seeing it on a monitor, or you are going to print it in an RGB setting. I can show you endless. Can you look at pictures on the net and say, okay, this picture has been taken by a Canon, and this has been taken by a Nikon, and this has been taken by a Sony? Well, I can't. So, or for Fuji for that matter. Yeah, Fuji has come up with something else. Now, what Fuji has done is they have got years of color science behind them. So they have used that, and they have produced colors which are simulating films. So that is why Fuji can have responses quite similar to that from the film era, but you can get the same result again. I'm repeating, you can get the same result even from a Canon or a Nikon or a Sony. I have a Canon f4 light meter. I have never come across a Canon f4 light meter. So I don't know which one you're talking about. Sir, 8600 or 280-200s. Again, 8600 is a very powerful flash by itself, but if you're taking it outdoors and if you want to put it on top of something, the on a boom stand, it becomes a very heavy light. So you can't really handhold it on a boom. Any tips to store the batteries of 8400 and 600 Pro if you are not using it for a while? I heard the batteries go dead if not used for a while. What you have to do is, the batteries don't go dead. You have to keep it slightly charged, at least about 25 to 30% charged. Don't allow them to charge to zero, and no need to charge them to full charge. Okay, Bhavish Rathi, strobe lights. Yes, I think I've answered that question. When do I use a hair light? A hair light is used basically to separate it from the background. If instead of this light gray background, I had a black background, though my hair are gray and they would separate by themselves, but I would probably use a cut light or something as a hair light. So that is when I used it. Okay, show the picture. Wow. Okay, Mr. Naveen MR, which one have you never heard of? So, yeah, Mr. Naveen, if you can show me the picture, it would be a very good thing of the flash. Okay, Tarvinder Singh, Godox Octa flash with 80 centimeters is better, or 95 centimeters is better. Again, you are looking, what are you looking at? I would go for probably the 80 centimeters. It's a slightly smaller softbox, and it's useful for most photography. Canon f4 is, you're talking about a lens or you're talking about a light meter, Mr. Naveen? Okay. You are replying for Rahul. Fine. Okay. When do you use a taller strip box, and what's the okay? What is the Mr. Shri Krishna Joshi? What is the cut light? See, again, now the question comes is the direction of the light. When we talk about cut light, suppose this is the light. Now, if I use it, I'll switch it on deliberately. Yes, I'll change this mode. So if the light is coming from behind, you will notice that it is giving me a nice highlight here. So this light is known as a cut light or a separation light. So that's a cut light. So it will give me a little slightly dramatic light. When do you use a taller strip box, and what is the use? See, the length of the strip box is dependent upon the subject. Now, if you're shooting a 6-foot model and you're shooting her with a 3-foot softbox, the light is only going to come from head till maybe mid figure. So you will require at least a 5-foot softbox to cover from head to toe. So that is the purpose of this strip softbox. So that's what I would recommend. So again, as I said, if you want, you can go on to Pixel Village and you can see, you can learn quite a few things. We've got lots of stuff on Pixel Village, and if I get sufficient subscribers, you'll find it on YouTube as well. So let's see how things go. Okay. Okay, so I think we can wind off now. Okay, any comments on the new Godox light with lens? That's a continuous light source, Mr. Sri Krishna, and it's a very good light. But again, you can get a lot of Hollywood style effects with it. If I mounted my 860 Godox on a camera to take out indoor pictures and bouncing it from the roof, when I change the camera from portrait to landscape, the position, then why the power of light is changing. When you take it, let me see if I have a, yeah. See, what happens is a very simple thing. Very often, when it's the camera is like this, and I'm bouncing the light this way, the bouncing is correct. The minute I rotate it this way, now it is no longer bouncing from the top, it's bouncing off the wall. So the power can change. So you have to rotate it as well this way and then click. So that might be a mistake which you would do. Okay, wedding couple shooting at any single light tip for photographers. Again, if you are shooting wedding couples, I would recommend using large soft boxes. So you, especially the umbrella types which I had shown you earlier, those are very good for shooting weddings. Okay. Yeah, the SAT itself, that's it's a continuous light. It's an LED light, and it's a very good light for you can get quite a lot of effects. I'll probably do a video once the lockdown and everything is over on how to use the SAT. So that would be a good thing. If a square softbox is kept away and the fall off will be more than the 5 feet model will be covered. It will be covered, but then there will be what happens with if you keep the light too far away. Generally, with most softboxes, the face receives a little less light than the bottom, and in the middle the light is a little bit more generally. So you have to take a meter reading at the 3 spots, that is on the face and the torso and at the feet, and then you will be able to gauge what is the exposure to be kept. So generally what happens is people want a brighter face, so you may have to add a little bit more light on the face. And yes, the 5 feet model will be with a smaller softbox also you can cover it, but again then the light spread is different. Okay, which modifier is good for outdoor portraits and couple portraits? Mr. Sumoy, again, I will recommend using the umbrella softboxes, which are very good, easy to set up. Thank you, Mr. Aries. So can you please explain about the first curtain and second curtain sinks and where are the usage, where and when to use? Okay, let me just check if this presentation which I had has first and second curtain. No, it will not have. Yeah. Sorry. So what happens is, I was just checking if I have the. Okay. Okay. Oh, quite a few questions have come in. Yeah, forwarding ho gaya. Square law. Yes, you've answered. In case, do you use a beauty dish? Yes, I do use a beauty dish. I have 110 softbox triple. I need to take a full length 5. What do you do in this case? See, 110 meters, 110 centimeters of box is a little bit over 3 feet. So you can pull it back and get the lighting there, but you'll have to add additional light for the face. And generally, I would use something like a normal reflector or a beauty dish with a honeycomb grid to light up the face additionally. Okay, so please say something about warranty. Well, you have to. It's very important that you buy things which are with a warranty, because in India, especially if you're buying third-party gray goods, if something goes wrong with it, nobody will service it. So that is going to be a problem with non-warranty stuff. You have to check that there is a seal, and you have to register the warranty with Nikita for the Godox, because they are the official service center for Godox. For portrait beauty, see, beauty dish and ring light are totally different things altogether. Ring light is more of a fashion light, and it's meant for something totally different. Okay, KB Gupta, can you please explain about the first curtain and second curtain usage and firing? See, what happens with the first curtain is, when you are normally using a flash, you are using first curtain sync only. So you click the picture, the flash fires. Second curtain is when you click a picture. This is specially applicable only for long exposures. So if you're shooting for, say, something like 1 second or so, it records the picture and then the flash fires. Now, where is it useful? Okay, I'm shooting something, behind me is a well-lit background, and I want that well-lit background to also be recorded. Generally, what happens is, when the flash fires, people move. So you can keep it on you can place the camera on the tripod, you keep the camera on rear curtain sync, and fire the flash. What happens is, the exposure takes place, it records the background, and then the flash fires, recording the people in front. So that is what is first curtain and second curtain. Okay, would it be inversely proportional to the square of the distance? Yeah. Is that the same way to express light fall off in terms of stops? See, generally, yes, you can say light will fall off by 1 stop every foot. But at the first meter, light will be 1 stop. At the second meter, it is again, it's not 1 more stop, it will be double, because it is spreading. So it will go on increasing. So the light drops quite dramatically. Sir, the guide number and inverse square law, yes, they are interrelated. But again, guide number is a arbitrary number for a simple reason. It's basically based to boost the guide number. What they do is, they say, okay, we have taken the walls are ideal in ideal conditions. It's just like the car, this thing, in ideal conditions, it will give you this much mileage. So it's some guide number is something like that. Okay, thank you, Sumoy. 90 centimeters of box, is it enough for a wedding couple? Yeah, it's about a meter, so it's fairly good. So can you explain butterfly lighting? Is it similar to clamshell? Butterfly lighting is just one light which is coming from the top. Right now, the lighting which you're seeing on my face is a butterfly lighting. You will notice that I've got some shadows coming here. In clamshell, there will be a reflector from below as well. So that is the difference between clamshell and butterfly. Shri Krishna Joshi, are you based out of Pune or Mumbai? Neither. I'm in Baroda right now. Yeah, Nayan Joshi, I'm in from Baroda. Okay. Why is the beauty dish called a beauty dish? Same result we can get from others. You can get from even from a 1 meter by 1 meter softbox also will give you a similar result. The beauty dish, it's a name which has been given. So there is no such specific reason. Okay, this is a beauty dish because it is in a dish form. It's a hard reflector, so it's called a beauty dish, and it's got a big shape and curved shape, so it's like a dish. So that is why some people also have, especially in India, we've got weird names for it also. People will call it tabakada or ghamela or some such thing also. Ranjan Kanan. Hi George. When I use a larger softbox is 400 facing up down 45 degrees, the handle won't stay in that position and tilts downwards. With the AD 400 Pro, yeah. If I keep it stays in position, how do you? Actually, it's not. I don't use any counterweights. I don't know why you are having so much of a problem. I use, in fact, heavier soft boxes, but I have not had this problem. What happens is, in India we have a tendency of full takat laga ke wo, all locks are tightened. When you do that with plastic and fiber locks, the fiber gets, so the strength of that lock goes. That is why you are not supposed to show your strength on these equipments. You can probably take it to the service center. They'll replace the bushing or something like that, and it should be all right. Okay, so I think everybody has borne with me for about an hour. So I think thank everyone, and hopefully we'll see everyone on Sunday. Mirrorless or conventional DSLR, which gives actual data in file format for tabletop. Which one do you prefer? Sachin Patil, I'm still in favor of a DSLR, and I'm not yet gone to mirrorless. Manisha, thank you. But, good. Thank you, Jaideep. So can you please suggest TTL mode is good for the wedding photographer? Yes, if you know how to use exposure compensation. Along with TTL, Mr. KV Gupta, you have to use exposure compensation. And Joshi, thank you. Dinesh Raut, Dhanyavad. Santosh, thank you. Okay, so I am ending my broadcast now. And see you on Sunday. Thank you, Ranjan. Okay, I'm ending the broadcast now. Thank you.